Greetings. Welcome back to another edition or episode of the Weekend Rant. I have been trying to do this for the better part of a couple of weeks. The last rant I did was not a rant. It was more of a review. And I'm not even going to get into that, but it was something that a project I started a while back. There is something that I spoke of when the Weekend Rant started 3 years ago, maybe 2.5, whatever. And it was one of the most listened to Weekend Rants that I've done. And it's about traffic. And I have done it since then because it just doesn't fucking go away. And it seems to get worse and worse. And here's the fucked up part. Right now, I'm recording this in the middle of August. So it's like, I don't know, August 15th, 16th. And that's when everybody is on vacation. The last hurrah before college, right? And back to school. As a matter of fact, July and August, everybody's Jersey Shore, where are we listening to? So is it on the East Coast? You go down the Jersey Shore, you go up to the Poconos, you go out to the Hamptons. If you're on the West Coast, I lived there for a while, but I don't know where the hotspots are. People are traveling. They're going to Canada. They're going. I have a couple of good friends that went to Europe for a couple of weeks. Everybody's out. Where are the fucking cars coming from on the road? Seriously, I have said this 100 times. I work very close to JFK Airport. So it's the next exit. So if you take either JFK Expressway, Nassau Expressway, the Bell Parkway, the Conduit, all of them lead to the Van Wyck Expressway. And I am exit 2 on the Van Wyck to get to work. I don't have a problem saying that because I didn't tell you where. But you get off at exit 2 and that's where I am. Exit 1 is JFK Airport itself. So exit 1 is basically JFK. And then all the roads merge into the Van Wyck and become the Van Wyck Expressway, which takes you to LaGuardia Airport, where I don't know if this was designed back in the 40s and 50s, but when the two airports, one is domestic and one is international. JFK is international. LaGuardia is domestic. So you might be... I don't know if it happens often, but maybe it got connecting flights. Now they have an air train that goes from JFK to Jamaica to LaGuardia. If you're not from the area, this is all probably like, what the fuck's he talking about? But it all boils down to this. Somebody, and I think they're all doing it, the airports and everything needs to be modernized. So they're dumping $50 billion into JFK. They're going to try to make it one of the most modern airports that there are. I think my air conditioner kicked in. It's an old thing. It's freaking human. So in doing this, they have to put up those concrete blocks and roadblocks and divert traffic and bring in those machineries. And they're building these new overpasses. And I'm guessing it's been going on since the end of COVID. 3 years now, and they are nowhere near getting done. I see sections that look like they're done, but the traffic is just piled up. And let me ask you this. I leave, my son and I, we carpool, we work at the same place. We leave at 7 a.m. to get there on a normal day. It's a 50-minute drive, 50 minute. That's a day where there's no weather, bad weather. There's no accidents. It's just a normal commuting drive. In the summer, when everybody's supposed to be on vacation, and they are, and the schools and the colleges, and they're all closed, right? 25 minutes to get from door to door. As a matter of fact, we even get there so early, we get one of the VIP parking. So my company has a couple of spots. If you get there, it's first come, first serve. 3 of them. And there's 35 people that work there. In the morning, yesterday, for example, my son picked me up at 7:02. We were parked in one of the VIP spots at 7:23. it was like a 24-minute drive. Last night, coming home at 5 o'clock took us an hour and 10 minutes. So if nobody's going to work in the morning, who the fuck is coming home at night? Why does the nighttime commute double what the morning commute is? Okay, I'll say, yeah, people go out during the day and they go to DMB. They go shopping. I live right on the outskirts of Queens, so I'm on Long Island, Queens. So people go into Queens for something, or Brooklyn, and maybe I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there, but it's double the time to get home. And here's the sad part. In 2 weeks, well, luckily this year, Labor Day's late. So Labor Day is September 7th, I think, we still got a couple more weeks of at least decent commute in the morning. That morning commute is so pleasant when there's nobody. You know, when you jump on an expressway, a parkway, whatever way, and the guy, you're getting on the ramp, you're getting on, and the guy won't let you in, right? Hey, everybody has got to get on this parkway, this expressway. So if you don't want to let me in, I'll get behind you. But one way or the other, I'm getting on that parkway. And more than likely, I'll be ahead of you within a minute. So you hog up the right lane, and we get that nudge, I'll go, he goes, I go, he goes. And finally, he puts his car this fucking much up against the bumper in front of him, so I can't put my bumper in. So fuck you. I get in behind you, and then I get into the middle lane, and I'm gone. You eat my fucking dust. I'm pissed. Between the traffic, the people who driving this morning, we were 7:05, 7:08. I know this because there's a train track that we have to cross, and we know when the train comes. We're doing great. We get up to, I'll just say it, Sunrise Highway is a major highway, and we were doing great. My son and I, we were cruising. It starts to rain this morning, and they called it. They said there could be a chance of sprinkles. So we're driving, and I'm like, oh shit, it's raining. So I turn on my wipers, but it was not the rain that it was like, you had to like put on the wipers. It was just like put them on 30 seconds later, or you can do the automatic swipe thing, whatever. Everybody on that road slowed from 50 down to 10 miles an hour. We were all of a sudden in a fucking jam. What? You forgot how to drive when a raindrop falls? Okay, I know. You got to slow down in the rain. It's slippery. It can be slippery. There's oil on the road. I know it all. But do we have to go from doing the speed limit to coming to almost a complete stop? There's treated like a pack of dogs. There's 50 dogs, right? And I'm using dogs because they're in packs. Wild dogs, anyway. You're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 in that pack that panic. Oh my God, it's raining. Oh my God, and don't even start me with like a snowflake. They stop. They're the ones that are gonna slow down. So there's 3 lanes. So now everybody behind them has to slow down, and I'm like maybe 6 cars back. Look from the slow guy down, and yeah, I'm gonna say it. Aggressive. Because I look at the map, the GPS, the ETA arrival went from 7:28 to 7:48. Now I'm not going to get that parking spot, and if I don't, sometimes I got to park a block or 2 away. So listen, I don't mind walking. I walk 2 miles during lunch every day, weather permitting. But because a little bit of rain, and I'm talking mist. I'm not talking a heavy downpour where listen, I was in a heavy downpour 2 weeks ago. You might have heard, New York got really deluged, whatever the word is, by rain like for 3 days in a row. And I was in Queens, and there was flooding everywhere. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about mist. Like, it's just misty. And then within, I don't know, a quarter of a mile, you drive out of it. But by then, the damage is done because everybody is fucking behind you, all backed up. Something has to be done. And I'm talking to the legislators, the assemblymen, the congressmen, the senators, anybody, the local representatives, the state, all the way up to the federal level. Our road system in the States was built in the 30s. And back then, they had these little fucking cars that you crank, and they went 25 miles an hour. And nobody had a car. It was a luxury. It wasn't until the 50s and 60s, and that's when I was born, that the regular modern family started buying station wagons, and because it was the war was on. There used to be a time when wars in the world were very good for the U.S. economy because we were putting people to work. We were building the bombs, the munitions, and the technology that they needed over in the World War I, in World War II, and even Korea and Vietnam. We made money. The wars we're in now, we're losing money. But the technology cost us 50 times more than it did back in 1950. The airplanes, the drone, all of these are $5 billion planes. Completely. This is the weekend rant. I just go off on a tangent. The roads were not built for the amount of cars that are on the road. We're giving cars to everybody. If you graduate, if you turn 16, you run to DMV, you get your fucking junior license, and maybe daddy or big brother or somebody sits with you while you drive around and go to the mall. And then at 17, depending on the state, you get your license. Which, by the way, I got another whole rant about the fucking car insurance. Not sure I want to bring this up. Somebody that I know can't get insurance for the car he wants without collision, just liability. It's $800 a fucking month. That's all I'm going to say. So the car insurance companies, fuck you. You are draining us. And I know that they would turn around and say that the fraud that is happening is what's causing this. And just like Medicare or Medicaid, they're fraud. The doctors that are billing for patients that don't exist. I get it. But something's got to be done, folks. These roads were not designed to be. I see them doing some work where they widen them. So if it's 2 lanes, they're making 3. But it's not enough. It should have been made 3 decades ago. I could go on. I really could. Oh, God. It's only a 15-minute rant. I don't know what the answer is. And I have a feeling that by the time I'm either dead or buried or cremated, because I haven't decided, at some point, somebody's going to wake up and say, we need to study this. And I know that's going to take 5 or 10 years. I get whatever. Or by then, the fucking cars will be flying. I don't care. That's probably what's going to happen. Like human robots, they're here. It's just a matter of fine-tuning them. The flying cars are here. It's just the FAA's got to get on board. So if you can afford to get into that car that turns into an airplane and from like that commute I have, that 30 minutes, I can get there in maybe 10, whatever. It's got to get fixed. And it's not going to get fixed and it's not going to get looked at until you and all of you get mad and get angry. We have become accustomed to what the government tells us and what happens. I don't eat eggs a lot. When the price of eggs shot up to $8, $12 last year, I didn't buy them. I don't need eggs that much. I don't. Matter of fact, they're not that healthy for you. They got protein but when I was growing up, and my father was a doctor, and I know that was a long time ago, we were allowed 2 eggs a week. You gotta fucking laugh. Why does that bring up balloons? I will not buy anything that goes up in price because some douchebag in somewhere said, oh my God, my chicken has a bird flu. I could give you so many examples of one farm or one outbreak of something somewhere in the world, and all of a sudden, the price of fucking bananas goes skyrocketing. I just don't buy them. And I eat bananas. I make smoothies. I make my own kefir, and a plain banana kefir smoothie, nothing like it. A little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of almond butter. But if I'm going to pay $9.99 a bunch of bananas, fuck it. There's plenty of other fruit out there. Stop doing what everybody else does. I'm beginning to really think that we are living in some sort of scenario, a matrix. What's the word? We're inside some. I can't think of the word. Folks, it's fucking 9 o'clock at night, and I've been working since 5. I've done an interview and edit, and I'm trying to get the weekend rant done. I can't think. I'm beginning to think that we are test subjects in a bubble somewhere, and we're failing miserably. Just look at a stampede at any fucking stadium. Somebody yells bomb. Oh my God. Or a gunshot goes off. Oh my God. The stampedes, people die. And it turns out it wasn't a gun. Okay. I know we've had a lot of shootings over the years. And so there are shootings at stadiums and people will panic. It might be a subject I might want to, you know what? I want to go on. I just think it would be bad. I'm not going to get any sleep tonight, so if I do that. I needed to get a weekend rant up there. There you go. You got the rant. Maybe I'll do a part 2. There's so much more I wanted to talk about. There was something else that came up today. Oh, my car. The repairs that I need to do in my car. 6 years old. And I got to do struts and shocks. They want $4,000 for a Honda. I got around it, and maybe I'll tell you next time how I did that. But it's just ridiculous. You know, I saw a commercial this morning on my local news, and the local electric company, which is called PSEG, Pacific Southeast, PSEG, I don't know what the fuck it is. They said, if you need help paying your electric bill, contact us. If you meet certain criteria, you will get assistance. A couple of years ago, 5, I got a letter in the mail from this electric company and said, hey, you qualified for assistance. And I'm like, I didn't need it. I was able to pay my bill. I live alone. All right. I have one AC in my room. My electric bill is $74 a month, something like that. The next month, my electric bill was like $3. And I said, this has to be a mistake. And then I see down below HEAP, HEAP or something. It might have been my gas bill. I don't know which it was. One of them, I was getting assistance from the government or somebody. I didn't ask for it, but I didn't stop it either. I paid my electric bill. Whatever came in, I paid it. That might have been, some people might look at that like stealing. But was I going to get on the phone and call them and say, hey, why is my bill $3 instead of $90? No. But now they're advertising it again, and now I could use it because my car, besides the shocks and struts, 4 new tires and 2 brakes I needed, and now I am $5,000 in the hole. Teeth. These put me in the hole. They're great. Glad I did them, but I'm now hurting. But if I go to PSE&G now and say, look, I did something for my health. I got some teeth, so I won't have heart issues, because that's what my cardiologist said. But it wiped me out, and I need some time to build it back up again. And now I'm 2 months behind on my electric. You know what they're going to say? You make too much money. And I would love to say to them, if I could find the bills from 5 years ago, I'll say, well, why did you give it to me then? I didn't even ask for it. I'm going. All right, guys. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. Write in. You guys know my socials. Anonymous Andrew Podcast on everything. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Substack, Threads, Anonymous Andrew Podcast. I think X is the only one is AA Podcast, I think, something like that, because I don't know, whatever reason. Until next week, or whenever I come back and do this again. Ciao.